So I have um a couple things to discuss.
Okay.
Regarding to okay, let me. I had it. Okay. So for example, like for the businesses that so for like myself, for plushies, jewelries, collectible items, and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Do you remember? You don't have to tell me the names. Do you remember how many you like approved?
I don't. I think like two. I think yours and like one other person's.
Okay, because that was a situation that I was having like the conversation with well, it was Leia, but majority of the conversation was about why the scraps yard item that was supposed to be for public and they're for themselves are being sold or um like advertised that people are selling them but they're not under the business,
Yeah,
and that's what I don't.
I am down to get legislation written by me and Pred that resale of scrap related things require a business license
Yeah, that's all
payable to both
yeah.
Blaine County and Los Santos County. $50,000 each. What do you think?
I agree with that as well.
I think that's like a good like way to filter out shit businesses, and it gives Pred more money.
um I also wanted to suggest another thing that
Mm-hmm.
even though it's, hypothetically speaking, it's against me,
Mm-hmm.
even my business.
Yep.
I like to propose tax for all these types of businesses. The reason why I mentioned that is because just like, for example, if any criminals have any sort of businesses such as mechanic shops or food
Mm-hmm.
stalls and stuff, technically their money is rotating to the farmers, to the workers, or mechanic shops to the sanitation, for example, or their
Mm-hmm.
team, for example. But then for the businesses such as mine that is like purely just design and there is no like basically employees, or there is no money that is going for the city, why can't it go to the government? Why can't you just like say that like we will get taxed monthly or bi-weekly, for example? So the people who are actually
Give
want
me
to
one.
put.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just one sec. This is important. Hey, Paps, send
Yo,
me
yo.
your updated document for the music thing.
Yeah, yeah. I you should have that one.
Send it just one more time, just because
All right.
it's been a week. It's probably buried somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, no, I
Is that
got
what you
you.
wanted to chat about?
That is exactly.
Easy. Send it my way. I'm going to review and cut a check if everything looks good.
All right, perfect.
All right. Easy, brother. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I think monthly taxes and stuff would be very hard to manage. I think instead that when you go and I think that's more of a Pred thing.
Mm.
I have a better idea. I think you should write the legislation. Even if you don't have experience, trust me, it's easy. Copy
Okay.
something that exists already and expand on it with the expectations, and me and Pred can review and sign. I would say that the fee, I think, because I want to make sure Pred is making money, right? I
Right.
think that Blaine County should charge like 50,000, like let him charge it every month even to
Yeah, do
operate
it.
it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets removed.
Also, to that point, for example, I'd like to it's kind of like I'd like your advice or feedback, or even your, like, I want to get your brain at it, that for example someone like me who is like complete, citizen, clean and everything, what would I have that is, you know more than a regular, for example, like criminal, who has this type of business. Given that, like I said, for the criminals who have businesses of like food stall, for example, or mechanic shops, or any other things that already the the money
Mm.
is going around, what do I get more? Because you want to encourage people to be clean, you like it to give a meaning to expungement, not just like having a weapons license. You know what I mean? Not just like for just having group 6, for example, which I also wanted to talk about with the group 6. Why is it allowed to only do it one person? Like, why can't group 6 you can do it as an individual, but then you can't go hunting as an individual, even though the hunting license, right, it's for an individual. It's not a group hunting license, but then you need to have a second person in order for you to do it.
Mm.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So also I wanted to, before I forget about this,
Mhm.
Tails last tsunami, she Samantha Morning Sauce Tails, she was talking to me about it, that like she wants to also like mention it to Kyle about the whole situation, that she was not agreeing with like having it. I think she misunderstood my point that I was trying to make. I hope that she misunderstood. I hope that she's not running with that
Mhm.
idea,
Mhm.
that thinking that like I was trying to gatekeep the, or like some sort of like you know, saying that like, oh, I'm the only plushie business in the city. I'm trying to encourage other people, other
Yeah, other
artists
people
in the
should do it.
city. Yes, to but then the thing is, I was trying to mention that like, what's the point of me, what's the difference between me having a business license versus the next person who is right now,
I
for
I
example.
think that we should hold on. Let me text Pred right now.
Right.
We should meet. Um got a way for you to make more money with scraps. I wouldn't worry about it. At the end of the day, right? I think that these meetings should all like consist of Pred and myself, because look, it's like anything, right? Like not everyone's gonna agree, or maybe things are misunderstood. Best to get everyone in a room and chop it up and then alter from there. But my recommendation is write up some legislation, right? And your proposal for it. I think that, yes, I would totally back that you need a business. And that
Because we want the licensing to be valuable, right? To make
ex-
sense for something.
exactly.
And it actually is a way for the state, or like either Blaine County or Los Santos, whichever, San Andreas, basically, to make money out of that. Because if people are gonna, it's the same thing, for example, like that, I don't agree, I personally don't agree, but it's not, it's, no one cares about what I think, is
Mm-hmm.
that like, for example, because food courts, right, they're closed, right, I know that a couple of the people, even though they don't necessarily have a business license, like in terms of food, they're submitting, or like they're proposing to get food items from the stalls, right? And then they say that like, hey, noodle shop, you can give me, like, for example, chicken wings, for example,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm gonna sell it like up in Polito. That's completely fine, right? But then we want to make sure that it doesn't go out of hand, for example, for the stalls to not be able to function in the food court. You know what I mean? Like, it's good that like we're bringing these type of things, but then we also have to make sure that like it's appropriately, we're doing this,
I
so
agree.
those people also pay for the licensing as well, that they're eligible to sell these type of things, you know.
I like your ideas. I think the biggest problem we have for giving civilians more value is that you have to The best way to do it is you give someone more things.
Mhm.
And so it's the way that I would do it personally, and I'm spitballing, is that there should be a monthly licensing fee for scraps. The problem and then you have to bake that into your pricing of things. I would even bracket it like, you know what I mean? Because like, ugh, I don't know enough about the scrap stuff. Like, maybe things get categorized. So like, if you're doing category 1, where it's like, oh, it's just, isn't it? Isn't
It is
there?
already categorized if you search for scrapyard thing, but that's just only how like it's only $100, for example, tier 1. Tier 2 is
Maybe you
$300. Tier 3 is
associate a license with it as well,
mhm.
right? And you pay it monthly, right? Otherwise, you lose your ability and your items. This shit is way too cheap.
It is. But it was supposed to be, well, the goal that they had, which I understand that what goal they were bringing is that like it would be available for everyone. But you know how people are though. Like even for me, in order for me to be able to like give this type of scraps item to people, I wanted to hand make all of this
What's your
design.
ping number?
Ping is 149, my good sir.
149. All right.
Surely.
All right. Easy. All right, brother. See you down
All
here
right,
in a
my
bit.
man.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
To make it valuable, like, you know what I mean. So for example, like if I'm spending time, like if I'm spending like 3 hours or 4 hours on a plushie, right, I make it like 5K or 10K, right? But then some people, they completely overboard, and they're selling in, and they don't have a business license, and they're part of a gang as well, and they're selling at 50K. So how is that even fair for the business, like mine, that like, well, they don't have a business, everything is going to theirs, right? And like to their pockets, and then I'm
What's your
competing
ping?
with.
On 328.
328.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk in person.
All right.
All right. See you in a bit. Sorry about that, Tweetie. It's just.
No worries.
Yep.
But
I think that I think it is well beyond reasonable that if you are selling goods through a county service, that you should have a business, that there is a licensing price to it, and if it makes things more expensive, let them be more expensive, and that civilians pay a cheaper licensing than a felon.
exactly.
And I think you should put that to paper, and then me and Pred can review. I think this is more in Pred's domain, since Scraps is a Blaine County thing, right?
Mm.
And like, I don't even think our weight, like my weight, should be much into it, because at the end of the day, if someone's selling or running their business down here, so be it. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I cannot stop someone from selling something. You get what I'm saying, right? Like,
No, I understand.
if you become someone's clean person, right, and then they're selling through you, it is what it is, right? And
Yeah.
like, the only way to enforce it is with police, and police aren't gonna, investigate illegal plushies dealers.
No,
You
I
know
know.
what I mean?
No, I wasn't saying that like necessarily like to have it for that, but I was my first question, that when I was asking that what civilians has over the criminals, is
Mhm.
that the genuine question that I've been having for a very long time, that because everything seems like it's been equal, right? And if the city is encouraging people to stay clean, or if the city is encouraging
Yeah.
criminals to just do whatever they want, but they have the same rights, except for the fact that they can join the clerk or PD or EMS, which I don't think that any of the like criminals care, right? And then on top of that, G6. That's the only things that right now is that criminals can't do, right? But
Mm.
then everything else is pretty much equal. You know what I mean? With the civilian rights, for example, right? That's what I don't want. I don't understand it as well. And the same thing with like, uh, even going around having business license. Like, what value do I have as a business owner
So
than the other person? Because
I
I like to also own a storefront that I can um like sell my plushies.
mm.
But then I was discussing with Leia that she was saying that like there are also, I know even a couple of the storefronts right now that they've been using as a farmhouse.
that
Like,
those are
why?
things we're never going to be able to fix. And the reason is things were fucked with the last administration. And so the only way to get it back is to take from people. And you saw what happened with the stall stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be stall legislation 2.0. And that's going to be just impossible. Hey, what's going on, Wyatt? We're talking about how to bake more value for civilians and how scraps should probably have a licensing fee associated with it so that not only Blaine County can make money, but they also need a business associated with it, which is not only good for Pred, but kind of makes sense. And my recommendation was Tweetie should get some of these ideas to paper. But expanding beyond that, Tweetie, is I think that's why I've been on this forget properties. Properties are useless. They're useless because every single property that's owned, recovering it is a political nightmare. And the vast majority of people that want properties, like you're a valid case, but there's going to be 9 people that have invalid cases, right?
Yeah, true.
And that it's better that we open up the mall.
Yeah.
And so not only is it solving, if you run a shop outside of maybe the Lumber Co., nobody knows where anyone's shit is. And though they're probably only going to have 1 or 2 transactions a day, and it's probably going to be in the back of a car anyways. So we can solve all that by opening up, this is the location right here. You walk through there, and that business can go and run their stall for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's dope.
I feel like that's going to be the move. And I want clean people running mall security. I think the way that I want it, by the way, is it starts with tier 3 cleared G6. But then if you're a civilian, you can also join in, but you get you can only kind of operate here. But our G6 clearance 3, there can be 6 of them on duty, and they handle the money that we have in the back, transporting it down to Maze Bank and delivering it into the mall account.
Yeah.
I think that's the move, Tweetie, to be honest, when it comes to properties and stuff. And
Yeah.
finding ways that we can make more for civilians rather than trying to fix something that we can't fix, right? Which, when it comes to real estate, because Pred wants
No,
to like,
I know. Yeah. It's just it was almost like venting, to be honest with it, because I
No.
know that like it is what it is. Like you can't
Yeah.
necessarily fix any of them as
that,
well.
and that's exactly what it is. Because it's like if we were able to solve this a long time ago,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been an issue. But now
Yeah.
it's just
It's kinda, like, too
impossible
late.
to. It's too late. Hey, hey, yeah, feeling come on down. Is there anything else we wanted to discuss? I think I'm gonna try to see if we can talk to Pred today. On this.
Just in case that I forget about it, because I'm also like able to see the items, for example, and I'm
Yep.
able to like approve it. we're having a lot of issues where I'm also like rejecting a couple of the the things that are being submitted that are copyrighted. Like people are getting way too
Oh,
comfortable with it, and I found two more today.
oh my God.
And I already denied it, but I don't want people to assume that like we're denying it because we don't like the people or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not about like personal thing, but we need to put it like very openly, even though we've said it already and like it is in the reports and legislation that no copyrighted, but I don't think that people read, to be honest.
Oh
Yeah,
my
reading is a
God.
lost art in this city.
Yeah, so I don't want to, maybe you can make an announcement, maybe possibly that people,
Yeah. I can't. This falls into Pred's domain as well.
right.
So you
But
get
it's
what
all
I'm
right.
saying, right?
No,
Like,
no, I know. Just in case I forget this, what I mean, that like if you ever
oh,
want
yes,
to
yes, yes.
mention that, that's very important. That if he could also make this type of announcement.
Yep.
over there.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, for now, that's all it is. Regarding to food court and all that stuff.
Easy.
I think also Michael was mentioning that